I want to say something. A prize, motherfucker.
What's going on, everybody? It's that ordinary podcaster with the extraordinary thoughts that tells you to stop being great and be extraordinary. I'm Demetrius Thigpen, also known as Meech Speaks, and welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Crazy Podcast. Now, if you like this episode and this episode resonates with you, don't forget to head on over to the podcast and leave me a like, subscribe, rate, review, or just honestly, man, just share this podcast with somebody because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. I'm still trying to, get that right. Because that's still new. But I promise you, once I figure out exactly how to say it, it will definitely sound a lot more natural. But, this episode, right? And I've said December is all about preparing ourselves for our New Year's resolution, preparing ourselves to become that better version of ourselves, preparing ourselves to embark on a new journey, preparing ourselves so that way January 10th, we're not quitting. But one thing that stands out to me, and shout out to, because this topic really came from Sergeant Hamptonfur, okay? And I really just want to just say, bro, like, this episode really stands out and it really resonates with me because of the simple fact that this was something that I've experienced. This is also things that I've seen before. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but just because you don't support me, that doesn't mean that you gotta hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, just because you don't like what I'm doing, just because you don't understand what I'm doing, just because you don't get it, that doesn't mean that you got to go out your way to make me feel uncomfortable. Go out your way to try to talk me out of it, to go out your way to try to just make me walk away from it. You ain't got to do all of that. Not supporting me, that's neutral. Going out of your way to hurt me, that's intentional. All right. And I really have to say this because we see this so many times, especially us as service members, especially us in families that are going left when everyone in our family went right, if that makes sense. Good example of this. You get that Marine that's in your unit and they say, you feel me? They say, oh, I'm thinking about getting out, or I've decided to get out of the military. Now, all of a sudden, he a shitbag. All of a sudden, he a detriment to the organization. All of a sudden, he's no longer this high-performing Marine that we used to call him yesterday. But because today he's saying, like, you know what? I want to get out of the military. All of a sudden, he a piece of shit. And we do things, let me rephrase that, leadership will do things to make his life an inconvenience, or at least make his transition. There it is right there. They will do things to make his transition, you feel me, harder than what it needs to be. Oh, you got to go to Skill Bridge? Well, I'm going to sit on your package. Oh, you need to apply to this? Well, no, you can't do that because you got duty, or you got to go do this. And it's like, bro, just let the guy go. You feel me? Just let the fucking guy go. I've seen this as a recruiter, man, where you have somebody and they're like, yo, like, I'm interested in the military. But because their family does not agree with them, their family's like, no, you cannot do this, especially under my roof. You won't be joining the military, or you won't be able to do this because, and it's like, bro, I get it. It's not for you. It's not for you. But just because it's not for you, that doesn't mean that it's not from somebody else. That does not mean that it's not for somebody else, And the shitty situation is that when you do these type of things to people, right? Like when you do these type of things to people, it really puts a bad taste in their mouths. You feel me? It puts a bad taste. I have to deal with this on a regular basis. Like I see this all the time from the Marine that said that, hey, he wants to go to medical to get X, Y, and Z looked at. All of a sudden he a piece of shit. And because y'all treated him like he was a piece of shit, now he has this bad taste in his mouth towards anybody else that does it. You feel me? I have to deal with it from the kid that wants to go to college, that wants to join the military, but everybody in his family went to college and they not pro that. So they going to send him the most worst memes possible. They're going to send him all the videos of, just to deter his narrative. I see the Marine that's about to get out of the military and everybody's making it an inconvenience for him just to get out. And now somebody who would have left on good terms, man, he can't wait to get the fuck away from y'all. And Flip gears, you see somebody and they going down a different business path, changing their lifestyles, changing their health, changing their career path. And because you don't fucking understand it, right? You don't support them. But not only do you not support him, you go out your way to essentially get him to walk away from the situation, to revert back to who he is, to quit. And to be honest with you, the reason why you're doing that is because you did it. That's really it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump right on into today's episode. Now, the first piece of this is authority without empathy, okay? And when I was writing this out, I was thinking like, oh yeah, it's always somebody's boss. It's not honestly always the boss that's doing this. You feel me? Like it's not always the boss. It's somebody that holds a high space within your life. Okay, there it is right there. It's someone who holds a high place within your life. That could be a boss. That could be a loved one that you really, their opinion really matters to you. That could be a parent. That could be a friend. You feel me? That could be a friend, but it's somebody that holds a high space within your life. And ain't nothing worse than having somebody in this position and they're your biggest fucking op. They're your biggest op. You see it from the junior Marine who's asking the sergeant, who's asking the staff sergeant, who's asking the gunnery sergeant, hey, can I do this? And they're saying no. And the worst part about this is that you're saying no, not from a space of understanding. Okay. You're not saying no from a space of understanding. You're saying no from a space of ignorance. You're saying no from a space of because I said so. Marine want to go on a McMap class. You feel me? Belt advancement. And you're saying, no, you have this going on. No, he don't. No, he don't. You're saying no because you got shot down before. You're saying no because you don't think that it's important. You got somebody in your life and they're telling you like, hey, this is what I plan to do. And you're trying to talk down to him or to get him to not want to do it. And the worst piece about this is not only are you physically saying no, or let me phrase verbally saying no, but you also turn the space that y'all both inhabit into a hostile environment. Ain't nothing worse than coming to work and you got somebody that you can't say nothing to. And they saying some slick shit to you. You feel me? Like they over there saying some slick shit to you. And you know that if you say something, you could get in trouble. You know that if you say something, it could start an argument. You know that if you say something, it could flip the entire trajectory of what your day was supposed to be. But they're saying that to you. And now you're saying to yourself, I can't wait to get the fuck away from them. I can't wait to get out. I can't wait to leave. And now you're not even telling people what you're doing. You're keeping it to yourself. You're keeping it to yourself because you already know that they're against you. And the moment that they hear any progress towards this, they're going to do everything in their power to try to derail your entire situation. I remember being a junior Marine. And I was telling like a sergeant and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about start getting a job after working hours. And he's like, no, you can't have a job after working hours. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I said so. And I was like, what do you mean because you said so? Now, mind you, I'm at this point, I'm 19, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck do you mean because you said so? Like, I'm making $600 at the time, like junior Marines was only making like $600, $700. I'm like, I'm making $600, dude. He's like, that's more than enough money. And I'm like, bro, no, it's not. And was that on a small scale? 100%. Did I get my ass chewed because I went back and forth with him? 100%. I sure did. But I was thinking to myself, like, bro, like, just because you have the power to say no, that doesn't mean that you can. And I will say this, though, man, because there's a lot of people that are in situations and they have to deal with people, parents, teachers, influencers, bosses, and they say no, not because they didn't want you to do it. They say no just to remind you that they can say no. Just because they say no just so they can remind you that they have control of the situation. And I know that's a shitty thing to do. That's a real shitty thing to do. So when I tell you, man, like some people are saying no, not from a place of understanding. Some people are flat out saying fuck it, no, because from a space of ignorance, from a space of control. Because you could say yes. You could make this person's life easier. But because you don't fucking understand it, because you don't agree with it, because you don't like it, because it doesn't fit what you think they should be doing. And that's another thing. And I don't know a lot of people understand this. Some people will honestly derail your situation, disagree with it, make you not do it because it doesn't fit the plan that they have for you. All right, I'll say that again. The reason why a lot of people are going to disagree with you, not support you, hurt you, make the environment hostile while you're there is not because they truly disagree with it. It's because it doesn't fit the plan that they have for you. They, in their minds, they have this plan for you. They know what they want you to do. They already have it laid out. And as soon as you say, this is not what I want to do, fuck, absolutely no. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And that right there is the reason why a lot of people will get out of the military, walk away from a relationship and a close relationship because they no longer, want to deal with this person. That's the reason why a lot of people will actually join the Marine Corps, join something, and never talk to their family because their family gave them hell when they told them that this is what they wanted to do. This is why a lot of people have a bad taste about the military, especially the veterans, because they gave them hell while they were in because they wanted to do something different.
So let's pause this episode for a quick commercial break.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's going on, everybody? As we all know, mental health is a huge piece for me. And recently, as I become a better version of myself, I've decided that it's time for me to go to therapy because I understand how life can be a little overwhelming and we all need help navigating through the trenches of military service in and out of uniform. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. First, all you got to do is go to their site. Matter of fact, you can use my link right here. Answer a few questions and BetterHelp will match you with a professional who has years of experience in helping people with struggles just like yours. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call or video chat or messaging, however you feel most comfortable. It's the easiest possible way to start talking to a therapist. You will be matched to a therapist usually within 48 hours so you can get started fast. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your home. Visit betterhelp.com/MeechSpeaks and enjoy a special discount on your first month.
But the big question, and as we go into the second part of this episode, the big question is always going to be why? Why is it that just because you don't support this, that you're making my life hell? Why is it that because you disagree with what I'm doing, now you're going out your way to stop me? Why is it that you're giving me so many issues when all you have to do is just take a step back and just let me do it? Why? The reason why, man, and there's a couple of factors. There's a couple of factors of why this would happen. But one of the main reasons why is because they tried it and failed. And I'll say that again. The reason why some people don't want to see you execute on something or go down this path is because they went down this path and they failed. And the problem is not only did they fail doing it, they quit after the failure. The failure wasn't the problem. You feel me? The failure is not the problem. And I don't know who need to hear this. The failure was never the problem. It was the quitting afterwards that became the issue. That's where the real root of this is coming from. They see you going down this route, right? And initially they were like, he's going to end up just like me. And when he didn't, that's when the envy came out. That's when the insecurities came out. That's when the jealousy came out. Because a lot of people don't understand, man, ain't nothing worse than seeing somebody do something that you quit doing. Ain't nothing worse than seeing somebody try something, fail, and then succeed in something that you quit, you walked away from. Because now you have to sit back. You have to sit back with this gut feeling. Let me rephrase that. You have to sit back with this reality that could have been you. That could have been you, but you walked away. That could have been you, but your life is different than theirs. Ain't nothing worse than somebody who can't do it because of the shit that they did in their lives and now it's going to prevent them. But because you have a clean slate, you feel me? Because you have a clean slate, you probably younger than them. You probably a little bit more athletic than they are. You probably ain't got a wife and a whole bunch of kids. You probably ain't stuck in the mindset that they had. And you're moving forward in the success that they wish they would have had. Shame on you. Shame on you. And that's exactly how they view it. That's exactly how they view it. They know that you can do it. Let me rephrase that. They see that you are doing it. And they can't help but get mad because it's like, bro, like, damn, man, if I would have kept moving forward, maybe that would have been me. You see people in the area and you say to them, hey, I want to move away. I want to become something bigger than this. And they're like, what? What you mean you want to become? You ain't going to be that. That ain't for us. And the reality is that it just wasn't for you. It wasn't for you. You tell your platoon sergeant, hey, I want to get out of the military and work here. What? You're not gonna be successful. No, bro. You don't think that you're going to be successful. And that's really where it comes down to, man. A lot of us, let me rephrase. There it is. A lot of us were victims of somebody else's disagreement towards themselves. There it is right there. It's not that you don't think that I can do it. You didn't think that you could do it. And because you didn't think that you could do it, now you don't want anybody to do it. That's really where it's coming down to. You wish that this could have been you. You know it could have been you. But because it's not, that bothers you. And my constant victory in it shows you that this could have been you. But because you chose something else, now it's not. That's why you giving me shit for this, right? That's the reason why you're making it harder for me to do this, because you want me to give up. You want me to quit. You want me to walk away from this. Because as soon as, and I will say this, because as soon as you walk away, as soon as you revert, as soon as you give up, as soon as you say, you know what, this isn't for me, here they come. Nothing but support. Nothing but support. Because they know what it's like to have to walk away from this. They know what it's like to quit. They know what it's like to give up, change the position, change the direction. They know that. They know that for a fact. And they're just happy that you're on this side now because they couldn't relate to you over there. But the reality is, man, is that just because you don't support it, I don't mean that you have to hurt me, though. Just because you don't want to see me doing this because you felt like it should have been you, that don't mean that you got to derail me. Because what a lot of people have to understand, man, is that things can happen overnight. You can do the exact same thing that I'm doing, bro. You really could. All you have to do is just take that step. But until you decide to stop fucking hating and actually take the step forward, you always going to be like that. You always going to be like that. Now, here's the big takeaways, okay? Now, here's the thing that you can really like take home and utilize in your day to day, okay? First things first, you got to draw the line, okay? Because you can disagree with me without disrespecting me, all right? And I'm going to just go ahead and just say this real quick because I have to remember that my target audience is military service members. It ain't a specific rank. Okay, so there's some Dream Marines that are definitely listening to this. And I want to just say something to the Dream Marine and the person who is directly in charge of them. You know what I mean? Because ain't nothing worse than being a PFC, a Lance Corporal, and you have something to say or you're getting shit for something, and the guy who is directly responsible for you is just standing there not saying anything. You feel me? I know right now it's a corporal, Lance Corporal, it's a junior Marine, probably even a sergeant, you feel me, that has something going on. You feel me? Whether that's a business out in town, whether that's just going to the gym, whether that's just maintaining a fucking marriage, whether that's just being a productive parent in their children's lives, whether that's maybe that's some college, and there's a boss that's trying to give them shit because it didn't work for them. Let me rephrase that. They wouldn't want to work in that situation, so they quit. And that guy who's giving him shit ain't even his direct boss. There's a bystander right there who's the same rank as him. And you're not saying anything. Honestly, you're worse than the guy who's giving him shit. Because you have the ability, right? Like you have the ability to not make the environment hostile. You have the ability to say something. And this is why I always preach the whole be the leader that you needed the most. That's the reason why I preach this so much, because ain't nothing worse than being somebody who can't say anything and you're looking at somebody that can, and they're not saying anything because it doesn't have anything to do with them. That person right there, I'm going to just say it right now. You're trash. You won't stand up for your Marine because you don't agree with it, but you're going to allow somebody who definitely doesn't agree with it to talk to them like shit and to make their lives miserable, knowing that you could fucking step in. You're trash. you're trash for that. One thing that I've always been able to do, and this has bit me in the ass before, but at the exact same time, I regret nothing. I'm going to stand up for my Marine. Even if I don't agree with it. You feel me? Even though I don't agree with what he's doing because I don't see myself doing it, but this is something that he's passionate about. This is something that he sees working for him. I'm saying something. Hey, look, I get it. If you don't agree with him and you think that he's going to fail at it, then let him fail. You feel me? Let him fail and he'll come back with the lesson. But we're not about to talk to him like we fucking crazy. We're not about to make his life miserable. He wants to get out, but you need him to go to here. What about the other guys that ain't doing shit? Send one of them. Matter of fact, if that's the case, then just send me. You feel me? Just send me. But we ain't got to make his life hell because we don't agree with it. That's how you got to stand up. Because, this episode would mean nothing if I don't say something about that. All right? Because ain't nothing worse than coming to work and you got to deal with this shit. And then the person who could help you is just sitting there. And I know that the person that could help you is probably listening to this episode right now. So I will say this. If you got a Marine, right? If you got somebody that's in it ain't even military. If you have somebody that's in your life that is going down a route that is different from everybody else's and they're receiving shit, man, protect them from that. Say something. You in a position to say something. Because if you don't, you're not playing a neutral side. You've already picked your side. You're just not saying anything. And then when they fire gets burnt out, when they spirit gets snuffed out, when that light get dimmed out, you just as worse as the other person because you was a fucking bystander. Back to the person, man, that is literally has to fight two different battles. The battle towards success and the battle towards the people who are telling you that you can't fucking do it. I'm going to need you to go ahead and block that piece out. All right? Because I remember when I first started podcasting, I remember when I decided to get my shit together. Everybody was trying to talk me out of this. They told me how this wasn't going to work, that this wasn't a good idea, that I wasn't carrying myself the way that a sergeant is supposed to carry themselves. And they literally just were trying to just derail this entire thing. Those same people, when I ignored them and I focused on me and I made something of this, came back and was asking me, hey, how did you do this? Wow, I'm so proud of you. So I would tell you this, because I don't know who need to hear it. I need you just to focus on your success. Because we already know you're going to fail. All right? We already know that. We already know you're going to face some failures. But you're not about to quit. All right? We already know that you're about to take some losses. But you're not about to just walk away without the lesson. And it's going to be harder if you're dealing with this shit. So focus on the thing that you can control, and that's your fucking success.
And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Don't forget to head on over to your favorite streaming platform, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, and leave this podcast an honest review because this podcast deserves to grow just as much as we do. Also, don't forget to head on over to TikTok or Instagram and follow me at Meech Speaks. That's right, Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled M-E-E-C-H. Stay motivated, stay healthy. I'm out.